Unit 731. In the early 20th century, while the world watched tanks roll across borders and bombs fall from the sky, a secret operation unfolded far from public view. It was not a prison, not a hospital, not a factory. It was a research facility where science abandoned ethics entirely. This place was called Unit 731, and for decades, the world was encouraged to forget it ever existed. A world racing toward war. In the 1930s, Japan was undergoing rapid militarization. National pride, expansionist ideology, and fear of Western powers fueled aggressive ambitions across Asia. The Japanese military believed that modern warfare would not be won by weapons alone, but by science. Diseases had historically killed more soldiers than bullets. If disease could be controlled, weaponized, and directed, it could become a silent force more powerful than any army. This belief gave rise to a dangerous idea. What if biology could decide wars? The man behind the project. At the center of this idea was Shiro Ishii, a highly educated microbiologist and officer in the Imperial Japanese Army. Ishii was intelligent, charismatic, and deeply nationalistic. He believed Japan's survival depended on superior science, no matter the cost. To Ishii, ethics were a Western luxury. He argued that experimentation on humans was justified if it strengthened the empire. With military backing, Ishii proposed the creation of a specialized research unit dedicated to biological and chemical warfare. The proposal was approved. The birth of Unit 731. Unit 731 was officially known as the Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department. The name was intentionally misleading. Its main facility was built near Harbin, in Japanese-occupied Manchuria, far from international observers. The location was strategic, isolated, heavily guarded, surrounded by occupied populations. Inside its walls, the rules of humanity no longer applied. The facility included laboratories, prison cells, testing grounds, incinerators. It was a closed system designed to operate without scrutiny. Those brought to Unit 731 were not referred to as prisoners or patients. They were called maruta, logs. The term implied that they were resources to be used and discarded. This language mattered. By stripping victims of identity, guilt was reduced. By denying humanity, cruelty became routine. Victims included civilians accused of resistance, prisoners of war, political detainees, men and women alike. Their names were rarely recorded. Their suffering was meticulously documented. The experiments conducted at Unit 731 were designed to gather data for military use. Researchers studied how the human body reacted under extreme conditions: prolonged exposure to cold, severe dehydration, oxygen deprivation, untreated illnesses. These tests were not random acts of violence. They were structured experiments conducted under observation, with results recorded and analyzed. To the scientists, success was measured in data points. To the victims, it was measured in survival. The pursuit of biological weapons. Unit 731's primary mission was to develop biological warfare capabilities. Researchers focused on pathogens that could spread rapidly and cause mass disruption. They examined how diseases behaved inside the human body, how quickly symptoms appeared, and how long survival lasted without treatment. This information was used to refine methods of delivery. In some cases, field tests were conducted in occupied areas, populations unknowingly exposed. These actions blurred the line between experimentation and warfare. The doctors who knew. Unit 731 was not staffed by uneducated soldiers. It employed trained doctors, researchers, and technicians, many of whom later held respected positions. They wore lab coats. They kept records. They published research under different names after the war. Their participation raises an uncomfortable question. How easily can professional identity override moral responsibility? Those who worked at Unit 731 were sworn to secrecy. Discussing the facility outside its walls was considered treason. Some personnel later claimed they believed they were serving their country. Others admitted they were afraid to refuse. In a rigid military hierarchy, questioning orders was unthinkable. Silence became survival. The war turns. By 1945, the tide of war had shifted. Japan faced imminent defeat. As Soviet forces advanced into Manchuria, orders were given to dismantle Unit 731. Facilities were destroyed, documents were burned, prisoners were eliminated to erase evidence. Shiro Ishii disappeared from public view. Unit 731 vanished almost overnight. The trials that never happened. After the war, the world expected accountability. Nazi doctors faced trial at Nuremberg, but Unit 731 was different. Behind closed doors, American intelligence recognized the value of Ishii's research. A decision was made. Japanese scientists involved in Unit 731 were granted immunity in exchange for their data. Justice was sacrificed for strategic advantage. The victims were never consulted. The data obtained from Unit 731 was classified. Public trials were avoided. Official records minimized or denied the program's existence. Shiro Ishii lived freely after the war. Many of his colleagues became professors, researchers, and medical leaders. History moved on, but the silence remained. While the West remained quiet, the Soviet Union conducted its own investigation. In 1949, several Japanese officers were tried in Khabarovsk for biological warfare crimes. Their testimonies confirmed the existence of Unit 731, but Cold War politics dismissed these trials as propaganda. The truth was buried, again. Survivors and denial. For decades, survivors struggled to be heard. Many faced government denial, social stigma, lack of documentation. Textbooks avoided the subject. Public discussion was discouraged. Only in the late 20th century did historians begin piecing together the full scope of Unit 731 through declassified materials and survivor accounts. Why Unit 731 was forgotten. Unlike other war crimes, Unit 731 offered something powerful: knowledge. Governments chose progress over accountability. This decision reveals a harsh reality. When crimes produce useful data, justice becomes negotiable. Modern medical ethics did not emerge naturally. They were forged in response to abuses like Unit 731. Today, principles such as informed consent, human subject protections, international bioethics laws exist because history proved what happens without them. Unit 731 stands as a warning. The horrors inside Unit 731 were unimaginable, but the greatest crime may have come afterward. The decision to forget, the choice to protect perpetrators, the silence imposed on victims. History often punishes the defeated, but Unit 731 reminds us that sometimes the victors decide what justice looks like. If science gained knowledge through crimes against humanity, can that knowledge ever be morally justified? Or does progress built on silence carry a debt that history has yet to pay?